من اعتصم بحبلكم أمن من لجأ إلى حصنكم يا ليتنا كنا معكم سيدي فنفوز فوزا عظيما. عطروا مجلسكم بذكر محمد وآل محمد. Continuing with where we left off yesterday, the concept of the sons of Yaqub, Yusuf, and the brothers of Yusuf. Alaykum as-salam wa rahmatullah. We said yesterday that the Quran says there are examples, verses, revelations, a story to be taken from Yusuf and his brothers, and things that we can use in our modern day life. And we mentioned several things. Amongst them, we mentioned that they were upset with their father because their father showed more affection to their youngest son, or their youngest brother, being Yusuf, and his brother Benjamin, or in English as we know him as Benjamin. So Joseph and Benjamin. They said, قالوا يا أبانا, they came to him. They said, قالوا يا أبانا ما لك لا تأمنا على يوسف. Why is it that you do not trust us in regards to Yusuf? وإنا له لناصحون. While we are advisors to him, while we have his best intention at heart. Zin. Before we get to this point, we should consider a point that we mentioned yesterday. And that point is that Yusuf, or the father of Yusuf, Jacob, showed compassion to Yusuf and his brother that he did not show to the older sons. And for those who were not here yesterday, it would be good to recap for the benefit of it. We find that, what do they say, the brothers of Yusuf? لَيُوسُفُ وَأَخِيهِ أَحَبُّ إِلَىٰ أَبِينَا مِنَّا وَنَحْنُ عُصْبَةٌ إِنَّ أَبَانَا لَفِي ضَلَالٍ مُبِينٍ. Yusuf and his brother are dearer to our father than us, while we are usbah. The term usbah in the Arabic language has the same root as bundle. يعني when I want to tie my head, شو نقول احنا بالعربي؟ عصب رأسه. No? When I want to tie I don't know, greenery together, for example, whatever type of greens that we would eat, شو نقول؟ عصبة of greenery. عصبة means to bound together. When they said وَنَحْنُ عُصْبَةٌ, what are they saying? They're saying he's showing compassion and he's showing more favor to this child. According to the narration, at this age, Yusuf was between 7 to 10. They say when he was placed in the well, he was around 9 or 10, while others say 7 or 8. Nonetheless, a child. But he was a very perceptive child. Why? Because he is a prophet, and we believe that the prophets are prophets from birth. No? We believe that prophets are prophets from the beginning. Therefore, when they looked, they saw, number one, their father showing more compassion. Second is they saw that the favor bestowed upon them, upon Yusuf and his brother, is unjustified. And we said this is due to several factors. Number one, the first factor is that they had a weak heart, that they compared themselves to children. And we often see such actions, okay, when a new baby is born. But we usually see it from what? from the child that's close in age. When you have an older sibling, they usually care for the child. They don't become jealous of that child. But these brothers, these band of brothers that the Quran describes and that they describe themselves as usbah, became jealous of him. Why did they become jealous? We can avert this to multiple issues. The first issue is that they themselves saw certain attributes lacking within them that is found in Yusuf, creating jealousy within their hearts. And we usually see this with narcissistic individuals who are weak-hearted, weak-minded. What do? They reflect their negativities and their lacks on individuals that have those attributes, those completions, those attributes of perfection. That's number one. Number two is when the Quran describes them as usbah, it describes as men. It doesn't describe children. It describes grown-ups. Because you cannot bound yourself to a child and consider yourself strong. صح ولا لا؟ يعني هلا right now, if I'm standing with 4 grown men, I would consider myself, especially strong brothers of mine from the same father, I would consider myself strong, right? Because my strength is reliant on them being next to me. But if I have 4 younger siblings, would I consider myself strong or protected? What do you guys say? Protected? No? So the concept of strength dwindles and it becomes a concept of protection. To them, they saw themselves as strong, meaning what? Meaning that whoever was with them was considered an adult, someone who can exemplify strength. Then we come to a different point. We see that Yusuf, not only was he perceptive, Yusuf, as the Quran says, had a dream. The Quran says, رَأَيْتُ أَحَدَ عَشَرَ كَوْكَبًا وَالشَّمْسُ وَالْقَمَرُ رَأَيْتُهُمْ لِي سَاجِدِينَ. I saw 11 planets and the sun and the moon prostrating before me. Here Yaqub understands something that Yusuf was not aware of, which is what? Ya bunayya la taqsus ru'yak. Here Yaqub warns Yusuf. He says, my son, this information don't share with anybody. As some narrations say that he did share the information, which created more animosity. Some narrations, not all of them. What did this do? This created more animosity from his brothers. And we see this in our day-to-day lives. We see this in our daily work life, in our daily family life even sometimes. When you buy a new car, instead of your friend being happy for you, what do? Oh, what do you need this for? Oh, this isn't useful. Oh, no. وَحَطَّمْ كُلْ أَحْلَامِكُمْ. He destroys all of your hopes and all of your Maulana, I want to be an engineer. Oh, me tell engineer. I say, you want to be an engineer? You'll never be an engineer. No? I want to be a basketball player. Oh, 1 in a million succeed. Maybe I'm the 1 in a million. Why do you have to destroy my hopes and dreams? Why? Because they cannot do it. And brothers and sisters, Shabab, can you guys sit up in front of me? Because the lecture is for you, mashallah. All the grown-ups know this information. Hurry up, sallu ala Muhammad wa ali Muhammad. Yalla Hamoud, you're a part of them too. Shabab, I'm sharing information with you guys that I wish I had someone to share with me when I was your age, okay? Therefore, we'll continue. You will find that in our lives, and you can ask your parents for this, you will meet individuals who are cynical. شنو يعني cynical? What does cynical mean? Cynical are individuals who will destroy your hopes and dreams because they lack hopes and dreams. Or you will come across individuals who have made it, who have become a doctor or an engineer or what have you. They're successful nonetheless. But they will destroy your hopes and dreams because they belittle you. They will destroy your hopes and dreams because they are threatened by you. And that is very normal in life. How do we combat this individual? We combat them in two ways. The first way to combat them is through kindness. Alaykum as-salam wa rahmatullah. We combat them through kindness. When they are rude, we smile. When they are mean, we be nice to them. What does Amir al-Mu'mineen say? نحن أهل بيت لا نزداد على الذنب إلينا إلا شفقا وعفوا. When somebody, alaykum salam, we are a people, we are a family, the Prophet's family. When people are rude to us, when people try to do harm to us, it does no more than increase us mercy and compassion to this individual. The Quran teaches us that you be kind to those who have animosity towards you, who are mean towards you, until they are like your best friend. Zain. Now we continue to the concept of Jacob. We find that Yaqub sees something in Yusuf that is unseen. What does he say to him? He says, وَيُتِمُّ نِعْمَتَهُ عَلَيْكَ وَعَلَىٰ آلِ يَعْقُوبَ. And Allah will perfect His blessing upon you and upon the family of Yaqub. And we said yesterday that Yaqub saw Yusuf alayhi salam as what? As the blessing of the house of Yaqub. The blessing of the house of Yaqub was Yusuf. Now we come to the brothers of Yusuf and their conniving ways. Before we continue, let's have Allah's salawat upon the Prophet Muhammad wa Ali Muhammad. They came up with a plan. اقتلوا يوسف أو اطرحوه أرضا. Kill him or send him in the land. Meaning what? Send him out in the desert. Let him die in the desert. يَخْلُ لَكُمْ وَجْهُ أَبِيكُمْ. What does that mean? That means you will return and gain your father's favor. And then after that, you will become a righteous group of people. And we said that they had an idea that after killing Yusuf or sending him out in the land, that they would repent and hope to what? Hope to become good people again. That's where we ended yesterday. Now we will continue today. We see that that the brothers of Yusuf come to Yaqub and they say, "Oh father, we want to take our youngest brother, or our second youngest brother, with us." What was their job? Their job was shepherds. So they would go wander the desert and they would let their cattle graze. قالوا أرسله معنا غدا يرتع ويلعب. And then what? وإنا له لحافظون. Send him with us tomorrow, O Father. يرتع, eat his fill. يلعب, play as much as he wants. And we will protect him. However, they know their father doesn't approve of them or of what they are going to do or of what they might do. So what did he say? What did they say? قالوا ما لك لا تأمنا على يوسف. Why don't you trust us with him? He's our brother. We will protect him. We'll watch over him. We see here Jacob answers them. What does he say? He says, I fear you take him and he is eaten by the wolf. Here, Nabiullah Yaqub did two things. First, we see, what does he say? He says, I fear, inni la yahzununi. I am saddened by him going with you. And I fear that he is eaten by the wolf. The brothers of Yusuf did not argue the first point. Obviously, when the child leaves the parent's side, the parent is saddened. So they didn't argue that point. Why? Because it's normal. What do they argue? They argue the second point. And there is an important story in the second point that we have to understand. The second point, they said, لَإِن يَأْكُلَهُ الذِّئْبُ وَنَحْنُ عُصْبَةٌ إِنَّا إِذًا لَمِنَ الْخَاسِرِينَ أو الْخَاسِرُونَ عَفْوًا. If he is eaten by a wolf while we are all together, we're strong. They believe themselves. They are strong. All 10 of them are strong. We're losers at that point. How can we live when we let one wolf eat our brother and we're a whole group? We see that the Quran does not address what plan they had prior to Yaqub saying that to them. What was their plan? Kill him or what? Or send him out, desert him. When Yaqub told them, I fear that the wolf might eat him, they got a bright idea. Now it's gotten very easy. Alaykum as-salam wa rahmatullah. Now all we need to do is say that he was eaten by a wolf. He gave them the way that they were looking for. What they were worried about and they didn't know what to do, he gave them. This in Arabic is called talqeen. And there's a narration from the Prophet, لذكره صلى الله عليه وآله. قال لا تلقنوا الكذب. شنو يعني تلقين؟ Talqeen means give someone an excuse. Don't teach somebody, don't give somebody the lie. When you want to question someone, you don't give them the excuse that they will answer you with. The Prophet says, لا تلقنوا الكذب. فإن بني يعقوب عليه السلام لم يعلموا أن الذئب يأكل الإنسان حتى لقنهم أبوه. The sons of Yaqub had no idea that wolves ate people until their father told them so. I say either they didn't know or they didn't think of the excuse until their father told them so. Then we come to another issue. What did they now? They convinced their father. They put pressure on their father. And they brought their father to his knees, metaphorically speaking. They broke their father down to where he relinquished power of Yusuf. From this story, we take two things. One part for the kids, which we will continue tomorrow, and one part for the parents, which we will do today. In 5 minutes, I want to say, right? I have 5 minutes? Yes. In 5 minutes, Ikhwani, Akhawati, overprotection is never beneficial. أنا هاي راح أقولها بالعربي. خوش؟ احنا عندنا في موضوع الاوفر بروتكشن اكثر من امر. طبعا لا احد يزود على احد بيحب ابنائه، مو يعني انا كل همي انه اسعى الى الكمال كانسان، مو I want to be the best of the best in this world in every aspect, and every parent of us is like that. صح ولا لا؟ And I do not accept anybody being better than I am. I know they are better, but I don't accept them being better than me. صح ولا لا؟ ما حد يرضى. النفس ما تقبلها. لا الأمية تقبل أكو أم أحسن من عندها. What do we always say? Don't teach her how to raise. Don't teach me how to raise my kids. Why? Because we know better. We think we know better. صح ولا؟ زين. I don't accept that he is better than me at raising my kids. That he's better than me in almost everything. Except for our kids. They are the only ones that we hope are better than us. قالوا مو بالعراقي تجوز في كلش. Right or not? Our children are the only beings on this earth that we want to be better than us. In fact, we are willing to give them everything we have in order for them to be better than us. An add-on to that, or as a result of that, what do we end up doing? We end up restricting everything upon them. And so sometimes restriction is good, and sometimes restriction is bad. Through our experience in life, we don't want them to go through the same problems we did. No? Marra, being protective means you hold your child's hand when you cross the street. Or marra, being protective means you don't let your child outside of the house. Alaykum salam. The problem with being overprotective is it destroys the individuality of that child. هلا احنا عرب ومسلمين وشيعة علي بن ابي طالب صلوات الله وسلامه عليه. والقرآن يقول إنا جعلناكم أمة، شنو هي الكلمة؟ وسطا. شنو يعني وسطا؟ A middle nation, a balanced nation, a nation not extreme, nor is it too loose, not to the right and not to the left. You are a middle nation. Therefore, we should act accordingly. When we find Amir al-Mu'mineen, طبعا أنا أكو شغلة دائما يقولون وين إحنا وين أمير المؤمنين؟ لا مولاي. Don't say when Amir al-Mu'mineen. If Amir al-Mu'mineen was not a goal we can achieve or we should aspire to achieve, then why did Allah command us to follow him? We cannot be Ali ibn Abi Talib, but we can fulfill his attributes. We can represent his attributes. One, we see, and I notice this a lot, parents that are overbearing of their children. One of their biggest issues, or one of the biggest issues that they end up having, is they ended up causing low self-esteem and low self-worth. Why? أولاً, he's never had a life to speak of. He has been under your wing this whole time. You have not let him breathe. He has not dealt with people. You have shielded him from every single thing out of love and protection. صح ولا لا? Nobody shields their kid because they hate them. They shield them because they love and protect them. What that ends up causing is the second they face a problem in the world, they break down. And we see this more and more with the new generation. ليش مولانا؟ They're not used to being rough housing with, or they're not used to their feathers being ruffled. No, they want everything to be politically correct. They want everything to be for them. They want to justify their bad habits. They want you to accept them for their bad habits. لا هذا مو صحيح. That's not freedom, that is perversion. Freedom is doing the right thing even if it doesn't benefit you. Freedom is being on the right path even if there's nothing in it for you. Freedom is not doing what you want, when you want, how you want, and expecting people to accept you for who you want or for those things. That's not freedom, that's perversion. The second issue that it causes is it causes anxiety and depression within that child. طبعا هذا الحكي مو من عندي، هذا الحكي حكي علماء، يعني هذا يعني psychologists are the ones that say this. Why does it cause anxiety and depression? Maulana, I'm going to give an example. يعني all your food, all day, all night is sweet from the morning till the night, and then all of a sudden you are given bitter food. ينجرع لو ما ينجرع. ينجرها بالعراقي يعني يتحمله واحد لو ما يتحمله. يعني I drink sweet tea. I cannot withstand bitter tea. People that drink their coffee, as we say in Vancouver, double, 2 creams, 2 sugars. Can they withstand black coffee? Absolutely not. Likewise with your kids, when all you have done is protect and care and never let them experience the world as it is, what ends up happening? When they see that they can't get what they want out of it, all of a sudden they're depressed, have anxiety, they have panic attacks. Malana, go clean your room. They lose their cool, they start screaming, I hate living here. Why? Because you have to do chores. No? That's not their fault 100%. We are to blame for that as well. Because have you had them do their chores from childhood, it would have become a part of life. But since he's a child, his mother makes his bed. When you enter the house, you pick up his toys after him. His shoes you put away. How do you expect him to have any assembly or concept of order within his life if you are the one that's putting everything in order for him? شباب اخوان انتوا وياي خواتي وياي لو لا؟ Is what I'm saying making sense or not? زين. The third point, shame and doubt. They end up feeling shameful because they don't fit in with society. They end up breaking down and breaking apart because they're not used to rejection. They're not used to not being number one. Because we start giving them participation trophies. Maulana, he lost. It's okay, give him participation trophy. But why do you take it away from the one that worked hard for it? The one that worked and struggled hard for it, why do you take it away from him? To give to someone who doesn't want to work for it. That's like giving someone who doesn't do homework B and giving the one who does his homework B+. But that's not justified. Well, Khabana, I'm not going to do any more homework and let me get a B. No? And I'm going to end with this. Approval, seeking the approval of others. وهذا من أخطر الأمور. Because he and she has always had your approval for their good and bad attributes, what do they start doing? They start doing whatever they can to seek the approval of others. And that's the spiral effect. It starts leading into the haram, into the what's wrong, into the mistakes. Why? Because he and she wants the approval of others. Because it was constantly there from you. Now all of a sudden they're out in public, and all of a sudden there is no more approval. What do they start doing? They start looking almost like instant euphoria, because approval is instant euphoria, right? It's instant gratification. When people approve of us, we get gratification from that approval. Now all of a sudden I'm taking off the gratification of approval. What do I start doing? Start working day and night to try to get that approval back. I ask Allah بحق الحسين الوجيه وجده وأبيه وأمه وأخيه والتسعة المعصومين من بنيه that He may guide us to the path of Muhammad wa Ali Muhammad and keep us steadfast on that path, inshaAllah, and teach us how to raise our children in accordance with Allah, the will of Allah and His Prophet and the Ahlul Bayt alayhim salatu wassalam. اللهم شاف كل مريض لا سيما المنظورين، اللهم فك كل أسير، انصر إخواننا لا سيما المعينين، وإلى أرواح المؤمنين والمؤمنات أرواح أموات الحاضرين بلغ اللهم الجميع ثواب الفاتحة. اللهم صل على محمد وعلى محمد. إخوان, tomorrow the lecture ضروري تجيبون أبنائكم. tomorrow the lecture is the opposite. بس احنا اليوم شنو صار بموضوعنا النهائي؟ عن شنو؟ عن الآباء والأمهات، مو باكر عن الأطفال. أرجو رجاء أخوي من خادمكم الصغير، جيبوا أطفالكم، لأن راح نتكلم عن طاعة وبر الوالدين في منهج القرآن وأهل البيت صلوات الله وسلامه عليهم. صلوا على محمد وآل محمد. أنت مولانا.